you for that. So if you have more time, spend some time reading. But again, it might be unique because, like many other skills, leadership is both, or leader is both an art and a science. But leader tend to be the art, the artistic side. Management tend to be on the science side. So leader and manager tend to be combined in one person, in a leader, in the manager. So you can see here sometimes the word leader is used for both as the manager or as the leader. The manager may not be used as a leader just because of the procedural one. The administrator tend to be the one in between, the intermingle role between a leader and a manager. But you can see the top administrator of a certain organization function as the leader and function as a manager at the same time. But the people may not prefer using the term one term alone like manager. People tend to use a certain term like the administrator, top admin or middle admin, because that person tend to ensure a certain uh, task to happen in a certain context. So what account for your student achievement if you are a teacher? I'm sorry. With the other employee. Now, we have a kind of group discussion now, but I would love you to think of this question for a few minutes regarding your class situation. What accounts for your student achievement? And does your leadership style as when you are the academic manager or the school principal affect your student, and how? So please individually think about the questions in about 5 minutes. Can I invite some of you, please? Yes? Yes, Dan, can you share something?
Yes, in my opinion, the students' achievement is about their learning goals. How they know how to achieve their learning goals, how they behave, their success or their failure, failures. I think that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And how about the others? When you, please.
May I share my idea for the second questions
Mm-hmm.
about the leadership style? I think that the leadership style will um, influence strongly the quality of the education, especially in the output or the learning outcome. I think that the school leadership have to have the clear directions or establish the high expectation for the student to follow. So that is my own opinions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's good. May, please.
Yes, I would like to share my ideas about question number one. And actually, I don't know that we can call it achievement or not, but when I account my students' achievement, I also care about their satisfaction. Like not only about the learning goals, but during the process of learning, I also care about like they really feel is satisfied with the learning process or not. And like in the class time, they feel happy or not when sharing with the teachers. So not only about the learning goals, but also about psychological factors in class time.
So that's from the perspective of the teacher. And
Yeah.
now, if you think of the same question from perspective of the administrator or top administrator of the school, like an academic manager, then what do you think about?
So
So
that's
you are right, partially right. I continue asking you, so you can share me, please.
yes. So if I am the management board of the organization, I also care about the students' satisfaction as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's the reason why we do have different kind of survey asking people or students to share their reflection, their evaluation of the learning experience in their school, and the achievement of such will contribute to the success of your school, of your institution. Okay, thank you. So, Lee, please, Lily.
Just as we mentioned before, that in colleges or university, that students are preparing for their future job maybe. So I can think that students' achievement is about they are provided enough for their future job. Yes, and I think that about the uh, learning environment. Learning environment is very important, and also the learning materials, because you know that the learning materials should be updated. Oh, sorry, Mister, are you listening? Because yes, okay. I think that's about the learning materials also important, because we should use updated materials for their so that our students can achieve, can have updated knowledge. Yeah, about the very first one question.
Okay. Um, that's another issue. When we talk about the from the perspective of the administrator, of course, we have to think of how we can prepare the student for job. Uh, but that is just one way of thinking. Uh, in order to help the student to have a job, it is another aspect. It doesn't mean that a university or a certain school can prepare the student for their job at all. But this would continue just provide some kind of adds-on value to a particular person so that they can work well in the job or for some certain kind of job or career. So you know that this is an important aspect. And there's one, uh, no, a number of school leaders tend to think that schooling or learning in a certain context just contribute, just add some certain value to the student success in their profession, in their career. Because what we provide, what we train the student, what we provide the student with, is just a partial knowledge or just part of the job market or the um, labor market may need. We cannot train the student everything. Except if you are teaching at a professional school or a vocational college, that would be a different thing. However, at that kind of professional school or a kind of vocational college, we do teach the student the uh, attitude, the value aspect, so that they can prepare better for the job they are applying in. So there will be some special training for that. But if we can see the university level, that will be different. We open it up for the student to choose, right? So it depends on how the administrator think of um, their role, their position, or the role of the institution in that kind of preparation for the student job. All right. Any other sharing from the whole class? Can I continue? We have shared our own score on leadership matrix survey, and you know much about your leadership style. Would you like to share a few things to the whole class? Not a pair share anymore? Or you just want to make a call with your classmate? Phương Duyên, would you like to share with the whole class what your leadership style based on the score of 10? Yes?
Oops, sorry. Yes, I think I already share with my friends.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. So you can share to the
and
whole class?
yeah, my score is 6.6 and 5.8. So the survey said that I'm
So where is the intersection?
yeah,
Did you put in the matrix?
yes, and the metric said that I'm a team leadership. So yeah, I think I'm not I'm not really interested in leadership, but I think I have the ability of a leader. I
Becoming a
guess.
leader, right? Okay.
Okay, that's it.
All right, thank you. How about the other? How about the other? Would you like to share some point? We are trying to answer whether leadership is universal or unique. Any other sharing from the whole class? Yes, Thủy, please.
Yes. My normal style is motivate the members to maximize their potentials. Yeah, that's all, sir.
That's all?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So can you go back to answer the question, is leadership universal and unique?
It is unique because it's inborn.
Is it unique?
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
it,
Thank you
yeah.
for your sharing. Uh, I do agree with that, but of course, leadership is also a kind of universal too, based on some certain basic characteristic or basic traits of leadership. Later on, you can see, because within your certain person, you do have some certain skill, leadership skill. Just sometime in your life, or at some certain moment in your life, or at some certain period of your life, such a kind of leadership traits might not readily exhibiting or might not be shown well or demonstrated. There will be some time that you can share, and your leadership style may um, better show or better demonstrated. Now, if you take a look at this finding from a certain kind of study on using meta-analysis. So you see, um, the major sources of variance in student achievement based on the study by John Hattie from the University of Malaya in Malaysia, um, found in the meta-analysis of different study, like the majority of the achievement of the student is based on what? The red one is 40%. What is that? It is by the student themselves. It seems that I have the wrong, the 40% here. The big part is 40%. And the next 10% is 30% is by the teacher, and peer effect is another 10%, and home is 10%, and school is 10%. So you can see that the role of the school here is to help the student motivate themselves, and the teacher role is to help the student to motivate themselves too. And the role of the school leader is to motivate the teacher so that they continue motivate the student in their achievement. A quality teacher in every classroom is the ultimate aim, but how to achieve this is a big question and the real challenge, So you can see that the majority of the success here in the student achievement, in whatever we can see, mostly depend on the student themselves and then the teacher themselves. The school contribute only 10%. The home and the peer only contribute to another 10%. So you can see the large part happen in the class. How can the top administrator or the middle administrator help the teacher do so or ensure such a thing happen? So you know that this is the role of the supervisor or the instructional leader of a certain institution. I come to the second point for discussion today, but you may just think of it. Discuss the following idea with reference to your role as a school principal. Forget all about the role of the teacher, or the program manager. When I say school principal or school leader, it tends to be the top administrator. Program manager tend to be the middle administrator. A leader in the postmodern world needs a clear sense of nothing is guaranteed, that nothing certainly will be easy. Why? What does it mean in this case? Why does Starrett say something like this 30 years ago? What role of the leader? The question is too difficult. We can understand, we can translate it into Vietnamese, but it's difficult for us to do. The leader needs to be really contingent, need to understand the basic, the essentials, the fundamental of the management, of the leadership, and of the instructional supervision process. Thầy hỏi các em chứ instructional supervision trong tiếng Việt chúng ta gọi là gì các em? Supervision. Tiếng Việt ta gọi là gì vậy? Hướng dẫn hả? Supervisor đó là hướng dẫn. Nhưng nó đồng thời cũng còn một nghĩa nào nữa?
Tự giám sát, right?
Đó là một cái giám sát.
Yes.
Vậy thì bây giờ ta hiểu chữ instructional supervisor và instructional leader nó như thế nào? Instruction này có nghĩa là gì? Nó liên quan tới teaching and learning. Nó liên quan tới education. Vậy đây có phải là vai trò của thanh tra đào tạo không? Đây có phải là vai trò của một giám sát đào tạo không? Ta dịch những chữ đó hoàn toàn không phù hợp trong bối cảnh này. Và các em đọc rất nhiều tài liệu. Sau này các em sẽ tìm thêm, hoặc nay mai các em tìm thêm cho thầy một cái gọi là supervision of instruction. Em tìm cái chữ đấy. Và em đọc hiểu cái chữ supervision ở đây với cái nghĩa rất bình thường. Đó là đảm bảo được chất lượng của cái việc giảng dạy. Chứ đừng nghĩ rằng đây phải thanh tra, kiểm tra, giám sát. Giám sát ở đây với vai trò rất bình thường của một lãnh đạo nhà trường, của một lãnh đạo khoa. Các em đừng hiểu đấy là vai trò của thanh tra pháp chế. Đừng hiểu đó là của thanh tra đào tạo. Đừng hiểu đó là của một người để đi kiểm soát lớp học. Không phải, mà là phải đảm bảo được chương trình đào tạo nó diễn ra như thế nào theo đúng thiết kế. We have to understand the effective practices in school. We have to define the school mission. We have to understand the effective practices in curriculum, in instruction and assessment. We have to understand and promote and participate in the teacher learning and development. Thầy xin lỗi nha, thầy ký một cái giấy tờ một chút xíu. Okay, let us continue. So, instructional leadership in this case is something really specific to a principal or to a school head. It refers to anything that the school leader do to improve teaching and learning, and its promotion. Promotion ở đây ta nên hiểu cái nghĩa, nó không phải là thăng tiến, nhưng đó là việc em chuyển tải được cái ý nghĩa của việc cải tiến về chất lượng dạy và học. Cho nên vừa rồi thầy cũng đã chia sẻ với các bạn ở trong những bài học trước nói về quality assurance, cũng vì mục đích để chúng ta hiểu được dần dần những câu chuyện mà chúng ta đang giảng, đang bàn ở đây nó đều liên quan tới chất lượng đào tạo. Và đó là vai trò của một instructional leader. Và instructional leader phải hiểu được cho bằng được đó là quá trình giảng dạy là như thế nào, quá trình học tập là như thế nào. Và để đảm bảo được cái chất lượng đó thì chúng ta phải đảm bảo các bộ phận khác phải vận hành. Chứ không phải là chỉ có thanh tra pháp chế không. Không có phải là chỉ có thanh tra đào tạo không. Thanh tra đào tạo chỉ là một chức năng hành chính rất bình thường thôi. Nhưng cái người lãnh đạo cao nhất và lãnh đạo cao nhất của một đơn vị phải hiểu cho bằng được ý nghĩa, giá trị của việc cải tiến chất lượng. Vậy nếu các em là giám đốc trung tâm, nếu các em là trưởng một đơn vị, nếu các em là trưởng một cái bộ phận đào tạo nào đó, các em phải hiểu được rõ đấy là đảm bảo chất lượng của việc dạy và học là như thế nào, làm sao để ta làm tốt được điều đó. And that is the reason why instructional leaders are also called the learning leaders. Tức là một lãnh đạo về việc học tập, lãnh đạo để làm sao đảm bảo được cái việc học tập nó diễn ra được tốt. The instructional leaders have a number of elements, and there's a simplified model of instructional leadership. First of all, we define and communicate the shared goals. We monitor, we provide feedback on the teaching and the learning process, and promote the school-wide professional development. The third stage is very important. You may not see that the career development, the career planning may not belong to the role of the leader, but I'm sorry. In fact, the leader role is also help the teacher to ensure their teaching profession, to improve their teaching profession by doing something that help them develop better. I do not wish to read word by word in the slide because you will soon have the slide. It's there for you to understand more. But I mainly focus on the keywords there. We also have some other elements. The model is by Weber. The first one, defining the school mission and the management, managing the curriculum and instruction, promoting the positive learning climate, and observe and improve the instruction, and assess the instructional program. So Weber come up with different models. The previous one is called the simplified one. This one tends to be more detailed. So you can see some different stages here are also important in the field. of leadership and in leadership of instruction. So a shared mindset is very important. Leadership paradigm is a very important word here, and that represents a fundamental way of thinking about, perceiving, studying, researching, and understanding leadership. Therefore, leadership paradigm, leadership mindset is very important. There are a number of leaders who can never change the institution, who can never improve a certain organization because of their mindset, because of their thinking, because of their leadership paradigm. Leadership theory paradigm based on the four important theory. The first theory came into existence during the 1930s or 1940s. Theories refer to the explanation of distinctive characteristics that account for leadership effectiveness, the so-called leadership traits theories. In 1950s, the theory attempt to explain the distinctive style used by effective leadership and to define the nature of the work according to Mintzberg 10 managerial roles. So we have the key words here that would help you to continue searching for more information. The contingency leadership theory in 1960s, when it appeared, referred to the theories that attempt to explain the appropriate leadership style based on the leader and the followers and the situation. There will be no fixed leadership style, meaning it depends on the situation. Or it depends on the situation and successful influence and leader follower relationship. So you can see this is the very important one. According to Murphy in 1982, the author come up with a conceptual framework of instructional leaders from another perspective, especially the three important aspects: activities, function, and processes. So you can see there are a number of functions: framing the school goals and objective, and developing and promoting expectation, developing, promoting standards, assessing, promoting student performance, protecting instructional time, and knowledge of the curriculum and instruction. It doesn't mean that we do not need such kind of knowledge. And promoting curricular coordination. So if you look at those kind of function, an instructional leader originally or used to be a certain teacher, a good or an excellent teacher. Those leaders who have never been a teacher would fail to do his or her job successfully. Remember that. And if you observe those leaders, then you can understand fully how and why such a kind of leader may have such a kind of leadership style and such a kind of paradigm, such a kind of mindset in the way they behave in that particular organization. According to the processes, we have communication, we have conflict resolution, we have group process, we have communication issue. And for the activity, we have behavioral, we have practices, and we have policies. So it depends on the situation that you may need to tackle some certain issue. Now let us continue with another point. Another sharing in a study by Blase 2000. The authors studied 809 teacher participants with about 500 words from each respondent reflection were coded according to the guidelines for inductive exploratory research, and comparative analysis. And the authors come up with two major themes in the effective instructional leadership model found by the author. So first of all, talking with the teacher to promote reflection. And the second one, making suggestions that are purposeful, appropriate, and non-threatening. Those important effective leadership models found in the model by Place and Place are very important. Part of that is professional development. Okay, so those leaders who work well, he or she will be able or should be able to approach the people and share their vision, their goal, their common goal, their mindset, so that the follower be better prepared for their career, for their profession in the future. Therefore, they will stay longer with the institution. So this is the indication for practice and training, and I would hope you to continue reading such kind of sharing. For those with lengthy words or a lot of words like this, I do not aim to read the material, but I wish to share with you so that you can have a review of the lesson at home. So in order to do so, the principal may first of all acknowledge the difficulty of growing and changing, including the teacher resistance of and the difficulty of the role of changes, and recognize the changes that is a journey of learning and risk taking. So we are talking about changes. Whatever we are changing the curriculum, they are afraid of that. So we try to communicate that kind of idea so that the teacher can understand well enough that teaching, learning, and review in the lesson is a part of the teaching, the learning process, helping the teacher refresh their course, do a better job of their course for the next semester. Okay, so that is another important issue. Now, I will talk more about transformational school leadership. If you search for managerial leader or manager, you can see that there are different kind of style. One of the keyword of the manager is transactional school leader. Have you ever heard the term transactional? Các bạn nghe cái từ đó chưa? Transactional leaders, các bạn tìm hiểu thử xem cái nghĩa của nó là gì. Nó đối nghịch và nó vừa đối xứng với cái chữ là transformational leader. But nowadays people trying to continue improve different kind of term, and there come new terms existing in the field of leadership study. So transformational school leadership requires us to understand and to practice different kind of dimension, including inspiration, the vision, the charisma. We need a kind of charisma, but the more we try, the poorer or the worse we can be. It depends on the purpose, the aim, the goal, or the vision of your learning, of your doing, of your behavior. So usually it depends on the individual consideration of whether you are doing this for what and why you are doing so. If you are doing something out of benefit, that would be different from out of nothing, from out of the sake of quality. So if you have different kind of orientation in your life, in your goal setting, then that would affect your leadership style. That is individual consideration. And the third point, individual or intellectual stimulation. You may adore some certain person, and then you may adapt that kind of person's style. You may seek for their understanding, seek for their agreement in some certain way, so that you can perform a better job of intellectual situation. Don't be so strict, don't be so panic when the regulation is not really well aligned, but we have to understand the principle behind. Structuring, referring to the organization, to the functional officers that help the leader do a better job as a manager. How about culture building? The manager role is not important here, but the leader role is very important here. So usually in different kind of school contexts, the role of the manager and the role of the leader tend to be intermingled. High performance on expectation. So you can see that the leader may tend people to do a better job as they can do. And of course, the leader must be a model of themselves. So these are the the A dimension in the transformational school leadership model. Now in the second half of the session, I will continue sharing a few concerns in other countries like in Australia. The biggest equity issue in Australian education today isn't the computer, isn't new buildings, isn't equipment. Each student having quality teachers and quality teaching at school supported by effective leadership and professional learning in a mutually respectful local community context. So you can see this is a very important aspect. How about in the context of Vietnam? What do you think? Would you like to say some word? Instructional leadership in class. First of all, we have to understand what we are teaching. We have to understand whether our students have actually learned or not. And going back to I remember it's a link question, link sharing on student satisfaction, right, Lynn? Did you share on that? Yep.
That's me.
That's true. Also another that's me. That's me.
That's my
Yes.
sharing.
Okay, sorry. All right. So that goes back to satisfaction. Yes, part of that is your role. And how can we engage our student? This is not a kind of direct satisfaction, but if we can engage the student during the process of learning and even after the process of learning, then they will fully achieve their their goals in their life. So you can see that it's closely related to each other. There are three important levers for improvement, especially if you really want to build strong instructional leadership teams. So we have the detailed information here, but we have instructional leader on the one hand, instructional coaching, and instruct or professional learning communities. So you can see that these three levels is very important in the field. We also have to develop the network of community, a kind of network institution, so that we can share the information, we can learn from each other, and make sure that we can carry it very successfully in building up a kind of school culture of a particular instruction institution. Now we go back to the quality of the leadership, especially of effective principle. I would love you to read it aloud. Can some of you read it, please? Yes, Lily,
I'm
please.
sorry, Mr. Can you just come back to the previous slide?
Yeah, this one, right? This one? Is it this one?
Yes, okay, I finished. Thanks a lot. I want to capture that. Thanks a lot, I finished.
I see. I thought you want to ask a question. All right. Now, can some of you read aloud so that the whole class can hear another voice? Phương Duyên, please.
Yes. Effective principles and leadership qualities. So first, shaping a vision of academic success for all students based on high standards. Creating a climate hospitable to education so that safety, cooperative spirit, and other foundations of fruitful interaction prevail. Cultivating leadership in others so that teachers and other adults assume their part in realizing the school vision, and improving instruction to enable teachers to teach at their best and students to learn to their utmost. Managing people, data, and processes to foster school improvement.
Okay, thank you so much. So you can see the last part or the last point is only managing. Managing people, data, and processes to foster school improvement. So you can see the first 4 points focus mainly on the leadership or the role of the leader. But the last point focus on the role of the manager. So you can see that if you are the leader of a certain organization or institution or school, you can see the important role of a leader. Now let me continue with the sharing. Instructional leadership, an essential ingredient for improving student learning. I will continue sharing with you some reading by Kayuna and Glock and Rubling and Stowe, which is also very short. However, it provides you with some idea, a kind of interesting point for you to reflect on, in which the author wants to mention the effective school leader, create and implement a school plan, and so on and so forth. Follow strict district position or policy, allocate staff energy or time and facility, and so on. You see organizational structure that creates teaching team with diverse and complementary expertise assigned to diverse group of students, and include an assessment plan and a data-driven continuous improvement process. So if you are the top administrator, you have to ensure that all the assessments should be recorded and all of the assessment must be well planned before it taking place. So you can see that's very important. And the last one, address staff development needs. So this somehow answer Thủy question or concern, right? When you are an instructional leader of an academic unit, you have to ensure what are the teachers teaching. You have to understand, did our teacher help students actually learn? And you need to engage the staff into the curriculum, into the curriculum development, into the curriculum revision, into the curriculum implementation through the coaching, the mentoring, and supervision. Thầy dùng mấy chữ liên tiếp: curriculum development, curriculum revision, curriculum implementation, through our coaching, our mentoring, our supervision. So if you are a teacher in a class and you can carry it out, that is perfect. And if you are an academic administrator, you can do so for your teacher, that would be great. That's the reason why I would say again, universal value of leadership is possible. However, each person can carry it out in his or her own way. That makes leadership a unique one. We have some idea to conclude or wrap the lesson up. Each school or each organization has its own culture, and its school leader has to develop or cope with the strategy. Cope with the strategy. And we can see that a transformational approach to instructional leadership has the potential of developing a school culture. With vision, the intellectual simulation with high school with high expectation, but many impediments can occur using the individual's style. So what do you think about those ideas? What do you think about it? Especially the last point. What do you think? Okay. If you don't have any other question, then I would like to say thank you very much for your listening and your attention. Okay. Now, so far, do you have any other questions or any other concern?
No, sir.
Any question left unanswered? Ok, nếu các bạn không có gì hết thì chúng ta có thể nghỉ giải lao. Bữa nay nộp bài cho thầy đúng không? Nộp chưa?
Tuần sau này.
Tuần sau hả? Nhắc vậy thôi chứ thầy nhớ chứ sao không nhớ. Rồi làm tới đâu rồi? Các bạn làm tới đâu rồi? Có khó khăn gì không? Any difficulties?
Mình có cái giới hạn là topic mình chọn là cái chủ đề của nhóm mình làm, hay là tất cả những cái topic này mình có trong cái syllabus này.
Em nghĩ sao? Em nghĩ sao?
Dạ, em chọn cái topic không phải của nhóm em làm, tại vì
không nên chọn những gì mà nhóm đã làm rồi, vì cái đó là mình đang viết rồi, nó rất là dễ để lặp lại cái y chang cái gì nhóm đã làm. Cho nên thầy khuyên là chúng ta không nên làm y chang cái focus mà của nhóm. Tuy nhiên chúng ta nên nhìn vấn đề một cách tổng quát hơn. Chúng ta làm chủ đề nào cũng được, miễn sao nó liên quan tới cái phạm vi rộng, phạm vi của cái môn học của mình. Ha? Ok. Yes, thank you. Any other sharing by the whole class? Any questions? Okay, if not, then we can stop here for today session. We will see you again next week. All right, on the 11th, right? No, on the 12th of January. Okay, session 4. Thank you. Vậy các bạn học luôn ha, cho tới ngày. Chúng ta có muốn tăng lên một buổi nào không các bạn? 19 tháng 1 chúng ta có học buổi sáng không?
Không rồi.
Just because we finish translation study and maybe we have a lot of time.
Oh, really? Vậy 12 tháng 1 chúng ta có học sáng chiều được không? Không, nhưng mà cái thứ ba các em có học không nè? Thứ ba thầy cũng rảnh nữa.
Dạ không này.
Dạ không ạ.
Vậy thì nhưng mà như vậy thì sao?
Dạ.
Thế 11 tây các em có học được không? Tại vì thầy định là cái ngày buổi cuối á, nó sẽ rơi vào cái buổi 19 tháng 1 thì nó sẽ thuận lợi hơn cho các em hơn là cái tuần cuối cùng đó. Các em thấy sao?
Dạ thầy, tuần sau học bình thường rồi tuần sau nữa mình tăng cường đúng không ạ?
Tuần sau nữa mình tăng cường thì nó rơi vào buổi thứ 6 là vẫn được đúng không? Rồi vậy các em chuẩn bị luôn là ngày 18 tháng 1 là chúng ta học buổi số 5 và ngày 19 tháng 1 chúng ta học buổi số 6. Chúng ta có thể học buổi sáng được không các em?
Dạ được anh.
Dạ được ạ.
Ok, vậy trước mắt là bây giờ buổi sáng thứ ba và sáng thứ tư đi ha. Nếu mà kẹt cái vấn đề gì thì thầy sẽ báo với em gấp, đổi chút xíu sang buổi chiều nếu có thể. Nếu cần phải bị kẹt thôi. Còn nếu không thì vẫn là sáng 18 tháng 1 và sáng 19 tháng 1. Ok.